it's JohnBurry555, and I know it's a day late, but it's time to review the 4th episode of Willow. The episode being called Whispers of Nockmaar, right? Yep, oh sorry, it's The Whispers of Nockmaar. Just forgot that the article at the start of the title. But anyhow, so this, as I said, is the 4th episode, and this definitely feels like a midpoint. I'm not sure how many episodes are supposed to be. Is it gonna be like 8 episodes? Like, I think it was like not many Mandalorian episodes have been. Kenobi was of a similar length. Or is it gonna be something more like 12 like Star Wars Andor was? I'm not quite sure. I know it's out this summer, but this definitely feels like a midpoint. It also feels like if they had decided to split this into like 2 movies, for example, this would feel like the end of a part 1. Does that make sense? So this kind of brings on something I've been feeling really for all the 3 episodes, but I haven't been able to articulate till now. And this episode is part of the reason why. The episodes never felt like they had a good ending point. Well, actually, the last episode, episode 3, did have a good ending point where they arrive, where they find they're at Nockmaar. They arrive, so that did feel like kind of a good end point. But that's, especially with episodes 1 and 2, sure, it felt like a good chapter conclusion, but not necessarily a good episode endpoint. And granted, Willow is definitely it's not doing an episodic story, it's doing a story arc being told across multiple episodes. It's more like a mini-series than than something like MASH or Geroge's Island, or even some other shows like Star Wars Andor, where Andor had those breaks every couple of episodes, still telling an overarching story, but you still had episodes like announcements which were much more standard on but still connected with all the other stories. Willow's not telling even that, like Andor or even The Mandalorian to a certain extent. It's telling a story that is being told across multiple episodes, and each episode is a chapter, like in a book. Really, a book is actually a good way of comparison, where each chapter has its own endpoint, but never feels like the end of the story, the end of the book. So I hope I articulated those thoughts pretty effectively. But a few other things. This episode, I think, might be my favorite episode so far. One, like in previous episodes, they had flashbacks to the original movie, but I really love how they did it. Before it was like, characters remembering events, or the events show up on screen, or even a flashback scene. But no, what they did this time, I really love. They use essentially the concept of magic, so these are being portrayed as echoes that characters are seeing while they're at Nockmaar. They're actually seeing this stuff rather than just remembering or all that, which is quite, I gotta say, impressive. Another neat thing too I really enjoyed is between Kit and Laura. Yeah, I gotta make sure I had the characters' names correct. Which I think this is an important scene because the hostility that Kit has displayed really towards Kit pretty much ever since episode 1 is starting to break down. And she does this by telling Laura that she did succeed in that simple plant spell, which helped give her the confidence to actually solve the issue of the episode, that being Kit's arranged marriage groom. It hasn't gone through yet, obviously. Allowed her to use her magical abilities to save him from basically some kind of magical possession that would have endangered them all. But that is showing also that Kit is warming up to Laura, that she's, because she always had hostility, but the hostility, I felt like, came not out of the sense of any reservations that I just didn't want this person she probably didn't like, thought, was just messing around with her brother. I felt like it was that kind of thing, just never bothered to get to know that kind of hostility. But you can see it's breaking down, and that also gave Laura the confidence she needed. I know I said that before, but I think that's very important, because this episode reinforced a scene that I saw in the movie, that magic is not just present in the world, but you need to be confident in it in order for you to actually, perform it, which I think is pretty interesting. They also have a joke about how in the original movie the army was turned into pigs, and Willow says, "Yeah, I think we got them all," and they were eating pork or ham, not sure exactly which, and they all stopped eating. It is a hilarious joke. It's a hilarious joke, but it's also kind of a morbid joke. But it kind of fit the setting. Like, if they had told this, you know, when they were in Willow's village or at the I forget the name of the you know, where the home is, except for Willow, I forget that. Telling that joke in those two settings would have made no sense. But here at Nockmaar, it makes sense. This is in a dark environment. This episode might be actually the closest they've done to horror. Now, it's not like horror, like, you know, jump scares and all that. This is more psychological horror, which generally I think is better horror. I'm not a big horror fan in general, but when the psychological horror, there's something about it that I can deal with it. Probably because I find it more stimulating. I find it... I also think it does good at... for character development. Psychological horror elements are much better at driving character development forward than jump scares and gross out horror, things like that. So I think that's what I'm getting at that point. But yeah, we also see that so Kit's brother Eric, he is somewhere and we don't know where, but he's like the only person there, so that adds a little bit more mystery of what's going on with the Gales and the Dark Forces. Like, they captured him, but they just left him in a ruined city, so what does that mean? It's an intriguing mystery that I do hope we find out more in the next episode. But I think I got most of my thoughts pretty well covered. There's a few other things here and there, with characters being jealous and all of that. But until more of that's developed, I don't feel comfortable commenting on it yet, because all I would do is say, this is what happened in the episode, and sure, I can always do an episode summary, but I'd rather discuss the elements in the episode and what happened. And when I don't have anything to discuss besides it happened, like, then I find it humorous. That's okay. I don't mind saying I found this funny, but if I say, this is a plot point that they're leading forward, and I kind of already did, I just didn't specify which characters, because all of the characters are feeling some form of jealousy, and some, well, not all the characters, some is as simple as they're jealous of another character for their ability, they're jealous of another character because they're interested in somebody else, or jealous of another character because they actually can perform magic, or is not really performing magic. Like, there's all those different kind of things going on, and until there's more development, until I know what's going on, I don't feel comfortable in saying. And that's kind of the one problem with having a single story being told across multiple episodes. It is much harder to talk about it, especially when you expect, like, it's easier to do it and describe this book when a book of chapters for some reason. I think that's because you get a lot more character thoughts in books, and without getting that here, it makes it harder to comment it. So that's kind of one drawback of screen media that doesn't show us what characters are thinking. Certain plot elements that might go somewhere we just can't properly explore because we don't have enough information. But after that little observation, that's where I'm going to end this review. If you enjoyed my review, please be sure to give it a like, upvote, and share. Also, feel free to let me know in the comment section, what did you think of the Whispers of Nockmaar? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. And of course, also feel free to check out any of the links in the description. Subscribe and follow the channel if you haven't yet done so. And as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the force be with you, always.